I'll be making Mediterranean lamb or Greek lamb. So I have 3 pounds, about 1.3 kilograms of lamb chop. This is shoulder cut. I have 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of pepper, about a tablespoon of coriander seeds, 4 bay leaves. If you have fresh one, that's great. If you don't have it, I'm just using dry ones at this point. I have fresh thyme. This is oregano, and about a tablespoon of rosemary, about 3 or 4 garlic cloves, 1 lemon, then about 5 tablespoons of oil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop all of these ingredients and put it into mortar and pestle and pound them, make it a paste. So I put all of the fresh ingredients. I'll be adding coriander, my salt, and my pepper, and I will make it pound it, and I will make it almost a paste. It could be like a dry paste. The consistency will be dry. Then I will be adding that one with lemon and olive oil. I got my mixture pounded. Word of advice, I think it's a lot easier if you have ground coriander rather than seed coriander. It takes a lot of time to pound this thing. It gets into all the fresh things, and it doesn't takes a lot of time to pound. So word of advice, just use a ground coriander. So I'm going to put this one into my olive oil, and I'm going to mix my lemon as well. Here is my mix with lemon juice, olive oil, and all the other ingredients. They are pretty well mixed together. Now all I got to do is to put my lamb and coat them and refrigerate it. Now if you can refrigerate this one for overnight, that will be best, but at least let it sit there for 2 hours in the refrigerator. Lamb is pretty much coated with this one, so I'm going to put this cover and put it in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. Ideally overnight will be best, so that way all these all of them will be absorbing to the meat, and it will be very tasty. I got my lamb from the refrigerator. I marinated overnight. Just got this one out, so I'm going to let it sit outside the room temperature for about 10 or 15 minutes until I get my potatoes ready. So I got 6 russet potatoes. They're not they're not big. They're just medium size russet potatoes. I got half a cup of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of pepper as well. I also got about a tablespoon of oregano, and I also put a little bit of rosemary that was left behind. So I got my pot of water there, and I also got a baking tray with parchment paper. The reason that I have the parchment paper is last time I did it, the potatoes got stuck to the bottom of the baking pan, and I just want to avoid that happening. So all I'm going to do now is cut my potatoes into half, then I will cut them into quarters, boil them, and mix them. So my water is boiling, so I'm going to add about 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt. I already put 2 earlier, so that way it is salted. And I have a good friend of mine who is a food blogger, Her website is a Little Sweet Baker. I will put a link, and she was telling me, Nishan, you need to put the salt when the water is boiling, otherwise it's not going to, the salt is going to go to the bottom. So now I'm going to put my cubes of the potatoes, and I'm going to boil it for 5 to 6 minutes. I don't want it to boil over, just about 5 minutes, so that way it's good for baking. So I got my lemon juice. I'm going to put my other ingredients, a little bit of oregano, my salt, and I'm going to put maybe about a couple of teaspoons of pepper, and my potato is boiled. I'm going to whisk it together so everything is mixed well. Then I will drain the potatoes, and I will mix the potatoes into this. My potatoes are soaked in the lemon juice, olive oil, and all the other seasoning. So I'm going to put this into a parchment paper covered baking dish, baking tray, and put it in the oven for, takes about 40 minutes. It's 400 degrees for 40 minutes. Then I'm going to do the rest of the lamb. There is no way to arrange this as such. I'm just going to put it and then put all the juices on top of that. My potatoes are ready to go in the oven. I will put this one in for 20 minutes first. Then I will flip the potatoes so that all the sides are cooked very well. Then I will put it back for another 20 minutes. Then at about the last 5 minutes or so, I will make sure that I will put the broiler on to caramelize, or just to get a nice color on potatoes. So 20 minutes, then you flip it, then another 20 minutes, then about 5 minutes you just put the broiler just to get a nice color. So now to do the lamb, I put just about a tablespoon of olive oil, or any kind of oil, into my pan. Now pan is getting heated up. Now the main thing that I'm going to show is my lamb chops got a good amount of fat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to render this fat out and also caramelize it, so it's going to get a lot tastier. Also, I could have used just a simple saucepan. However, my friend Lily was telling, if you use a bigger saucepan or a high saucepan, it doesn't splatter as much. So I'm just going to use a high saucepan. I'm just going to leave my lamb with the fat side down before I sear it. So I'm going to get this, get the fat nicely caramelized. Also, it's going to give a nice taste, and then I will sear it and put it in the baking pan. So again, you can see there's a good layer of fat. So I'm going to keep it standing up, best of my ability. I'm not a chef, but I'll do my best. So as you can see, I got it standing, all of them, and it is rendering the fat out, and then I'm going to sear it. Then I'm just going to put it in a baking pan, cover it with tin foil, and cook it for 20 minutes. Then it's ready to go. Been searing for about 5 minutes, so this is the kind of a consistency that I'm looking for. Then I'm going to go ahead and sear all sides and put it in the baking tray. So my potatoes, I took it out at 20 minutes, and I have all my lamb chops at grill. I put the rest of the sauces in there now with my little bit of the bottom the things that are remaining, I'm going to put a cup of wine and I'm going to deglaze it. Now this is completely optional, but I happen to have a little bit of leftover wine, so I'm just going to go ahead and deglaze it and put it into my lamp and then do the final part. So I'm just going to deglaze my pan, let the alcohol get burnt out. So I put all the little bit of deglaze as well. This is going to kind of braise, but it'll going to get evaporated as well and have a little bit of juices at the bottom, and it is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to put both of them. I'm going to cover this with tin foil like this. Then I'm going to put it in the oven for 20 minutes. I'm going to put both of them at the same time so I can take my meat out at 20 minutes, and I'm going to put the broil for 5 minutes for potato, and then we are ready to eat. I pulled them out of the oven, so they are 20 minutes, each of them are done for 20 minutes now. So let's see, they are cooked. So get a little bit of extra juice. So if I were to, when I'm doing this one next time, I would instead of using a 1 cup of wine, I would do half a cup of wine, so that way it would not have this much of juice at the bottom. But hey, that's good as well because it's very tasty. So they are cooked very well. So this is about medium well. So if you want it a little bit about medium or so, or medium rare, you can reduce the time. I'm going to put the potatoes for 5 more minutes under the broil, then I will take it out and just make a nice simple salad with some red peppers, sweet peppers and some orange peppers, and I will plate it up. So my potatoes are nicely brown, and now I'm just going to serve this, and my son also wants to see it as well. So I will just set this one up, and we will be ready to eat. I will plate it in just a moment. So this is the final product. I have a nice piece of lamb chops, roasted potato, and just a simple salad to go with it. I know I'm going to enjoy this one, and I hope that you guys will enjoy it too.